But, Fitzy, just let's set the table here. How many teams are in the NFL?
There are still to date, 32.
Okay, darn it. They need to do that European expansion so that when the Patriots ranking of 31st comes in, it's not as close to the bottom.
Who finished beneath them?
That's a Dan Ball question.
It's about 3.5 hours away from here, Fitzy. They wear green and white.
The Jets?
No, according to Dan Ball.
Oh, I thought it was the Jets.
32 out of 32 overall. Congratulations to the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, my bad. Overall, gotcha.
Oh.
Okay.
No, the Jets are 32nd in a very specific category, which we'll get
gotcha.
to.
All right, fine.
Which is team morale?
You'll see.
The Patriots are 31st, and we'll go through some of the various categories here that the players vote on. And one that got a lot of attention a year ago was the treatment of families and daycare and that aspect of things. Well, good news. That is now the highest area the Patriots are ranked in.
Oh,
they got a
that's nice.
C+, which is not great, but not terrible. It's better than an F that I believe they received a year ago, and they're up to 18th in the league in treatment of families. So Robert said it was easy. They put a little attention there, and boom. They're moving on up the rankings. I wouldn't brag about 18th quite yet, but it is what it is.
Probably had a room full of just vegetable and fruit pouches and left Bluey on all the time.
Well, I mean, all they got to do really, they do a few good things down there that are simple. Their cookies are great. Their chicken fingers are great. Leave a big old tray of cookies and a big old tray of chicken fingers.
Not for kids.
Nice
for
step.
Kids, yeah.
Hey, you may want to have adult supervision.
Babysitters, too.
Well, no, I know there's babysitters. Yeah. You might not want to have the food in the hallway. For years, they had the families in the hallway right outside the locker room.
I'm surprised. My generation, we didn't expect the team to provide daycare for us.
It's a different era.
Very different era.
Different era.
Who's the babysitter over there?
Robin Glazier.
Hey, Rob. How are you?
Oh, Stiz, that's a cheap shot. Well played.
Yeah, but we all laughed.
Okay, so the next highest area, I guess, would be the locker room, where they get a C-, but they come in at 22nd. I think the locker room's fine. Is it a little dated? I mean, so the one thing I've heard here is a lot of people saying, and you bring this up sort of what you just commented on, you got kids coming from LSU and all these places.
Yeah.
But you're never going to measure up. They go crazy in college football. Who was the one that put in the slide? There was a 2-level facility, and there was a big slide you slid down. Part of it used to be recruiting. Before it was NIL,
Yeah.
Kids were wowed by this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a TV in my locker. Oh, my God, there's a leather recliner in my locker and all of those things. You're not going to win that game, and I don't think you should even try.
Really?
Just have a really nice locker room.
Okay, you're not trying to recruit players, free agents, to come to your team?
Yeah, and you know what I think recruits them? Actually, what recruits college players now? The same thing.
Money.
Chut and
I get
chin.
it, but
not a leather locker,
but it doesn't.
Actual cash.
It doesn't hurt to have a really nice locker too.
You need a little bit of, what do they call it in real curb appeal? You need curb appeal in the locker room.
Yep.
But you need to do it on a realistic budget. Because I think if you put $20 million into your locker room as opposed to offering T. Higgins $20 million more, it's money not well spent.
Have you ever seen Green Bay Packers locker room?
I'm going to say no.
I haven't been there.
If you've ever seen it, you would look at the Patriots locker room and you go, oh, I see what the players are talking about.
Yeah, and I just...
Oh, is Green Bay's that nice? Because Andy got me thinking, with all talking Ted about the college ones, imagine coming from Alabama or Oregon and then going to the Patriots locker room and being like,
you can't.
What happened?
It's a very average locker room. Very average.
I would say in general, my feeling of Gillette Stadium and the facilities forever have been...
one big average.
Yeah, and some below average. Some started out as average, but then if you're average for 10 years, well, you fell below average because other people upgraded and redid some things.
Guys, it's a quarter century old now.
We know why, guys,
and other teams are blowing theirs up that were the same.
I got to point that out real quick? Do we know why everything's very average? It was the largest privately funded stadium built in the NFL.
But that's a little bit of an excuse.
Good point.
That was 9 Super Bowls ago, 6 Super Bowl wins ago.
Yeah. I'm not using it. I'm just being. I'm not trying to use it.
No, but that was the excuse in 2002 when it was opened.
What's the excuse now?
I believe
Robin
when I look
Glazier.
Rob.
I believe when I look at the Forbes list, the Patriots are one of the top franchises, not just in the NFL, but in all of football. Robert's got $11 billion, right? Like it's a different time.
It must be in the airplane. They must have put the money in the
goes
airplane.
in his $11 billion ranking, moving. That's where he ranks high on the Forbes list of billionaires because he has the money.
I've got news for you on the airplane, Ted.
Smoke them if you got them.
You want to do that? Team travel.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
Team travel. F. 31st. Wait, I thought they have Aircraft One. They have their own planes. Mm-hmm. First class, first rate, top notch.
Yeah. It's the planes that have ashtrays in the back of the seats.
What if people want to smoke?
Smoke them if you got them, boys. Yeah, dude.
What if they want to, dabble in the recovery smoke?
Just so if people haven't figured out why I'm bringing that up, it literally is an airplane from 40 years ago when you were allowed to smoke on an airplane. Yeah. They're literally in a 40-year-old airplane.
You know who would have loved that? The late, great Gil Santos. That would have been nicely for him.
I heard it was still. Sorry, Stiz, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Dan.
I heard it was great for coaches playing cards in the back of after games.
That's a cheap shot.
You know what?
Too soon.
Obviously, the coach paid his bets because he was ranked one of the highest.
Yeah, the head coach was a B+. He ranked 24th.
The head coach got the highest rating of all of the categories. It was the coach that got fired 2 months ago.
And is it still the same plane, though? When's the last time you were on that plane, Ted?
Oh, no, it's the same plane.
Is it?
When Ted did it, they did charters. They bought the planes, was that 6 years ago now, 8 years ago? I don't even know when it was. That's when they went to the pair of Aircraft Ones with the Patriots logo that they then charter out, allow other organizations to use, whatever. But the complaints were from the players, there's ashtrays and there's no Wi-Fi.
Yeah, they bought a retrofit air. Now, this happens a lot when you have upstart discount airlines that fly out of smaller airports or like get a bay at Logan or something like that. That's fine as long as it actually, gets from A to B with reasonable safety and certainty, Ted. But on an air, like right now in the modern NFL, these guys would expect to be able to at least, download game film, play Candy Crush or just, watch MacGruber after you got a concussion with your head coach as opposed to sitting there just going like, hey, anyone got any Parliament Light 100s?
Well, that's why they play cards.
You look at the banners, you go 6 world champions. They must just first class all the way around here. Bologna sandwiches we'll get to. But
we'll get to your bologna sandwiches. Okay, so the worst grade, where if you wanted to have a good football team, in fact, if I'm not wrong, I believe the prior head coach, Gerard Mayo, in his opening press conference said a team starts in a certain building, a certain room in the building. Ted, I bet you like that room. What is it?
Andy, is it the weight room?
It's indeed the weight room. They got an F, 32nd. It's the only thing they ranked dead last in. And they upgraded the weight room a few years ago.
Did they?
It's not the original weight room because they actually took the media workroom. I know because, they bumped us to a different room and expanded it a little bit. It's still not very big, not very impressive. And now they are building, as Stiz brought up, this new $50 million building, training center, whatever. Yes, Stiz.
We've had a plan, and we put in place, we're committing a whole new facility adjacent to ours that has been discussed with the young leadership team of a building that'll be in excess of $50 million.
Okay,
that was last year.
I've been cynically
it's coming.
I've been cynically told, they're building a $50 million building to compete with $200 million buildings and $300 million buildings. Right.
It'll be obsolete in a year.
Yeah, you're getting better. It'll be nicer than what you have. The weight room will be bigger. I even heard Chris Long and Drake May bitch about there's no windows in any of the rooms. That'll change. You'll probably have windows in the weight room. There'll be glass, all that. But for $50 million, where colleges probably sneeze out $50 million expansions and upgrades to their facility. So I'm not sure they're going to get their curb appeal bang for their buck. Other areas that I think are, I guess it is good that the strength coach gets a B because you kept him around. That's Duran Mayo. He was here with Gerard Mayo, and he's still around now with Mike.
The strength and training faculty and the nutrition diet people got the highest marks. Those are the two highest marks but from the players, were the strength staff and the nutrition staff.
So other areas. So all of this falls under the umbrella of who, Fitzy? Who makes all these decisions? What is that name or that group?
I would feel like that would fall under ownership.
Ownership. Let's see how they did. They got a D. They rank 29th. And so I say they because I think we've reached the point where we say Crafts, we say Robert and Jonathan. We tend to pair them up. We play the audio of Robert being caught off guard last year. But let's read what ownership, the summary here that we had from the NFLPA report card. They got a D. They are 29th out of 32 teams. Owner Robert Kraft's average rating for perceived willingness to invest in facilities is 6.15 out of 10 from the Patriots players, a ranking of 28 out of 32 owners in the league. The players feel that Kraft slightly contributes to a positive team culture, a rank of 30 out of 32. Slightly, I guess, is very accurate. The players feel that Kraft is somewhat committed to building a competitive team, a rank of 30 out of 32 owners. Ted, during your heyday, wasn't Robert Kraft seen as, like, number one? Like the preeminent owner in the National Football League?
He was because of his forward thinking when it comes to marketing and making money outside of just ticket sales.
Did you think you had a good owner when you played?
Absolutely.
So you would have voted higher than 29th, 30th, 30, whatever for Robert Kraft.
Correct.
And now he is overall ranked 29th, and in a bunch of categories ranked 30 out of 32.
I'd be curious to see how how players voted for their owners versus cash spent on players' salaries.
So you're saying you guys are pretty simple. Pay me and I'll like you.
Correct.
You can buy my allegiance. You can buy my
I don't care what the
votes.
weight room looks like. I don't care what the airplane is. As long as you give me a good and above market salary, I'm okay with the owner.
So Dan Ball, can I ask you, because I know you had the full document of all the teams open.
Yeah.
Who are the owners that are worse than Robert Kraft?
From an ownership perspective, there is 3.
Okay.
So they got a D, right? This year.
Oh, yeah.
So you have 2 at D minus.
you're right.
Our previous losers, the Arizona Cardinals, get a D minus, as do the Carolina Panthers. No real surprise there.
Okay, Tepper.
1 owner got an F this year, and that was noted sons who run the team via Xbox.
Woody Johnson.
That's our guy.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Robert Kraft for beating a video game console.
Well, I mean, I guess the good news is back in the day it was the border war and everything was sort of measured on how you compete with the Jets. At least you still have a better owner than the Jets, although
So we got that going for you.
2 owners in the A. Maybe Josh Allen's girlfriend was right. Like the rest of the AFC East is just kind of also rans, right? You got the Bills and then you got whatever she called them. Like,
Okay, well, we'll win a Super Bowl, sweetheart.
I love when the Patriot comes
What are
out
we
in
doing?
Ted.
She's been nominated for an Oscar, Ted.
Show me your rings, bitch.
I love it.
Hey now, Andrew,
love it.
family show.
I love when Ted, see that right there, he bowed up. He was like,
Hey.
wait, I can question the
I mean,
Patriots,
but
but
when
you
Buffalo
can't.
they're flexing, it was like, come
Right.
on, Buffalo fans.
You losers.
Look at me, really won.
Win
Other
something
than
first.
divisions.
Dan Ball, yes.
Buffalo got an F minus for team travel this year, by the way.
Well, they are in Buffalo, so
That's true.
that
I think
you're
that's
starting
true,
in the
Fitzy. They were
you are
traveling
starting in
home.
the frozen heart of the Ice King from Game of Thrones across the wall. So